Today we're going to look at graphing once again. So yesterday we took a look at day 6, some basic graphing with amplitude and period. And today we're going to take a look at what happens when you shift this graph up and down and as well as horizontally. So we're going to talk about translating these sine and cosine graphs. So we're going to go through one from yesterday. So if you remember yesterday, that number before, that's our amplitude. So our amplitude is 3. And then our period is 2 pi. And we divide it by the value that's right before that x. So 1/2. And we know this is 2 pi times the reciprocal. So our period is 4 pi. So if we were to graph this, and we have to graph a positive and negative cycle, we know that this is pi and negative pi. And then to get that scale, we know that, well, in the middle would be pi over 2 and negative pi over 2, 1/2 pi. And if we're not sure what that first tick mark is, we take our, oh, excuse me, our period's 4 pi, my bad. Whoa, that's a big eraser there. Let's take that away. All right. Negative 4 pi and positive 4 pi. And our scale, 4 pi, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, divided by 4 for those critical marks, we end up with pi, which makes sense. 1 pi, negative 2 pi, negative 3 pi, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi. And our amplitude is 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, negative 3. Let's see its sine. And how do you remember where sine starts? Well, this is 1, 0. Sine is our y value, so it starts here at 0. And then it goes up, middle, down, middle. So this one would be down, middle, high, middle. And we have our sine curve there. So today what we're going to look at is all sorts of translations, where we still have our A as our amplitude, K to get our period, I should say our period is 2 pi divided by K. And then we have these values where negative C, just like before, it shifts to the right, and H shifts it up. So these are still the same as translating from last semester. They are the opposite here. Yeah. All right. So let's see here. The first one that we're going to look at is what happens with this negative here. Well, our amplitude is 1, so we can do 1 and negative 1. And our period, 2 pi divided by 1, which is 2 pi. Our x scale, well, 2 pi divided by 4, which is pi over 2. So 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2 are pi, 3 pi over 2, and 2 pi. But what happens with that negative? Our sign starts in the center, but instead of going up, it's going to go down. So it's that reflection there. So if that negative, it goes down first. And what about the cosine here? Well, instead of starting at positive 1, it starts at the negative A, or your negative amplitude. So instead of at positive 1, it'll start at negative 1, and then follow the pattern from there. So middle, high, middle, low. So now we're going to take a look at some that have all sorts of shifts here. Now one thing you'll notice here, you'll notice that our 2 is inside the parentheses here, where when we looked at this, do you see that K? There's the theta is by itself. There's nothing right next to it. So what we have to do is we have to factor out this 2. So I'm going to divide each of these by 2 and rewrite it as the cosine of 2 theta minus, and if we divide by 2, it's like multiplying by 1/2, so it's going to be pi over 4. So we have to make sure that theta is by itself when we're identifying everything. So our amplitude is 1. Our period would be 2 pi over our k value, which is 2. And our x scale would be pi over 4. And there's no up and down shift, but what does the minus do? It goes to the right pi over 4. So let's see here, our scale, 1 pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi. And we'll just label the positive ones, and we know our amplitude is 1 and -1. So I always tell people, graph it with our basic first. Let's put some things there. So our cosine, so it would start here. And let's not connect those because that's without our shift. But what does our shift do? It goes to the right pi over 4. So this one would move over to here, 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 here. And let's see, so this is high, so our next one would be middle, low, middle, high, middle. So we have our graph there. Now the next one we're going to take a look at. Well, let's see. Once again, I'll notice there isn't anything out here. So what's the opposite of divide by 2? Is I'm going to multiply each of these, everything, by 2. So times 2 times 2. So this is really 4, the sine of 2. Wait, no, we're not going to multiply by 2. Sorry, we have to pull out the 1/2. So if we pull out the 1/2 for the sine of 1/2. All right, so we pulled out the 1/2 here, so this would be theta plus, well, we'd have to do 2 pi here because we pulled out half here. So divide by half is the same as multiplying by 2, because if we distribute it again, now we just have the pi minus 6. So let's see, our amplitude here is 4. Our period is 2 pi over 1/2, which is 4 pi. Our scale would be 4 pi over 4, which is pi. And then our shifts, plus 2 pi moves it to the left 2 pi and down 6. So let's see. One thing I like to do here is I like to, well, first I guess we can label. So we got pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and 4 pi. This is where our new midline is. Because usually it's at 0, but it's moved down 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is our new midline. And our amplitude is 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our new high, mid, and then let's see, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is our new low. Now let's see, so now we graph that original here. It's a sine, so it would start on our midline and then go high, mid, low, mid. But what happens? It went to the left 2 pi. So we have to take all of those, and 2 pi is 2 tick marks, so 1, 2, 1, 2. And we can see here mid, high, our next one would be mid, mid, so this one must be low, mid, high, mid, low, mid. And we have our graph there. So let's check out this one. Well, notice it's all factored already, so that's good. So our amplitude is 2. Our period is 2 pi divided by 1/2, which we know is 4 pi. Our scale, what we're going to count by, is 4 pi divided by 4, which is pi. And our shifts, plus pi over 2, so to the left, pi over 2, and down 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're counting by pi. So 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. This is our new mid. So -1. So this is our mid. Our amplitude is 2, so 1, 2. That's our new high. 1, 2. And this is our new low. All right, so let's see, it's sine, so that's always going to start in the middle, but what would usually happen is since it's negative, that's going to make it go down. So down, mid, high, mid. But what happens to the left pi over 2? So it's not even a full tick mark. If this is pi, so it's half a tick mark. So mid halfway, move it to the left halfway, to the left halfway, to the left, to the left, and this would be over here. So let's see, this is in the middle, so our next one would be in the high, middle, low. So those weren't right on tick marks, but they were right in the middle of 2 because it wasn't an exact scale. Our shift to the left and right didn't match our scale. All right, and one last one. Let's check out this one. Well, this is nice because it's factored already. So our amplitude is 2. Our period is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. So our scale is pi over 4. So 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, or pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi. And what are our shifts? This is going to the right, pi over 4, and down 3. So this is our new mid. So 1, 2, 3. Dash that in right here. And then our amplitude is 2, so 1, 2. This got a little bit off, I apologize. There's our new high. And then down to 1, 2. So this is at, I might even put that on there, -3, -1, -5. All right, and what happens? It's a cosine, but it's a negative cosine, so it's usually it'll start down here, and then mid, high, mid, low. But what happened to this one? It moved to the right pi over 4, and to the right, oh, that's a tick mark, nice, so that works out. So to the right pi over 4, pi over 4, pi over 4, pi over 4. So this was mid, high, mid, low. This would be mid, high, mid, low, and the mid. And there we have it.